started a business at one time in your life. The first 50,000 or 100,000 euros in revenue when you start is geometric growth. So everybody that has ever started a business that generated any income, that's geometric growth, because it's starting from ground zero to the first 50, 100. Everybody with me? Okay. What happens? You stop playing to win and you start playing not to lose. When you decide that you really want to invoke permanent change, you start playing to win all the time. And nobody preaches that. They say, keep 6 months of reserve in your bank account, right? In case you lose your job. That's a common bullshit. For the first 30 years of my life, I spent 125% of every penny that I made every year. I was always, as you would say, in debt instead of debt. I don't know why I call it debt, but in debt. Why? Because I didn't want any backup. I didn't want any plan B. I either succeeded or died financially. QLA works for not just money. This kid came to me 2 years ago. He had never finished higher than 20th in university archery. He was on the archery team in Britain. Never finished higher than 20th in any meet he'd ever attended. This is him finishing first in Great Britain. A year and a half later. First, the little skinny wimp. Retard. He couldn't even pull the thing back. I didn't realize, they've got 60-pound bows. So he goes and get a 140-pound bow. Well, he doesn't weigh 140 pounds. Finished first. He was firing 50 to 100 arrows. I said, you fire 500 arrows a day for the next year and you'll win. His little arms would quiver. Couldn't get the thing back. Blisters cut through his hands. But he's the champ now. Your goal has got to be high standards. I talked to a couple of the kids and financial planning kids here, and I happen to know a lot about financial planning, being one of the forerunners 50 years ago. And most of the kids that go into that, wealth management as it's called now, don't set their standards high enough. You don't want to manage money for people that have 2 or 5 or 10 million. You want to manage money for people that have 100, 500, and a billion. But they don't teach you that during the training programs at Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, et cetera, et cetera. Because they realize that only 1 in 100 is going to attain that goal. And they want 100 of you with 5 million in your book, not one of you with 1 billion in your book. Focus on the few, not the many. And I've been giving that advice for 25 years. And I was given that advice when I was with the Onassis people. We think about too many different things. And we try to do too many things. Virtually almost everybody in the group is trying to do too many things. And the most successful, not unlike you, Josh, you focused, once you pivoted, on one thing until you got the ball across the goal line, until you got the deal financed, and until you get the actual money financed and exchange, contracts as it's called in this country. The deal's not over till the fat lady sings, until it's over. And I see, you gave an example being on the 1-inch line 2 or 3 times, and I see a lot of kids falter at the 1-inch line. Either because they're working on something else or they allow something else to obstruct their ultimate goal. Jack Welch, arguably the greatest CEO in the history of the world, who managed in General Electric for 25 years, he said there is no work-life balance. There are work-life challenges, and we make decisions and we live with them. Do you think Elon Musk has work-life balance? No. Do you think Steve Jobs, when he was alive, had work-life balance? No. Do you think Bill Gates? No. Henry Ford? No. Original Heineken? No. So if none of those people that created the wealth of the world had work-life balance, why do you think you're going to have it? Why? Because you deserve it? I don't think so. You deserve what you get in life by working hard. I drove by a college today and I yelled, boo. 35 people went to the hospital. 734 needed crisis counseling. 429 needed a safe area or room. And classes were canceled for a week. There are universities that I've spoken at that have safe floors. The third floor in the physics building in Krakow University has a safe floor. If life gets too tough for them, they go to that floor to chill. The Air Force Academy has safeguards. We have a Naval Academy guy, so he said that they pull when they're being beat up too much. Enlisted men going through boot camp have safeguards that they pull. We're lucky we don't go to war with Russia. They'll eat our lunch. They're going to eat us alive. We're lucky. There are no safeguards in life. I tell the kids all the time, if we were at war, we'd all be dead. See, you're used to making mistakes, and nothing happens. For the few of you in the military in here, you know mistakes can cost lives. Our kids are millennials, but they're not. I mean, you'd think that they were Godzilla, Attila the Hun, and Genghis Khan compared to the other millennials. Our daughter is me with a skirt. She's a rough She's a rough girl. Daddy, why do you want to go? If she were standing here, she'd say, my daddy treats everybody the same, like shit. Whether you're the Pope, although I do cut the Pope some slack. That's not quite accurate. Whether you're, whoever, I treat everybody the same because I hold everybody accountable. If you tell me you're going to do something, young lady, if you don't do it, I'll rip your head off and down your neck. I'll be all over you like a cheap suit.
There's 7.5 billion people on the planet, and my guesstimate is there's only about 700,000 or 800,000 of us on the planet that are willing to make the sacrifices vis-a-vis focus, commitment, and it's just like premier athletes. There's a lot of people that run the 100-yard dash, but there's very few of them that make it to the Olympics, and there's even fewer that medal.
I love myself. Nobody, my wife, God bless her, would say, I worship the ground. Don't get mad at me, Sally. I worship the ground Dan walks on, but my love for him is transitory for the love he has for himself. Self-esteem. If you don't love yourself, you can't be a good husband, a good father, a good anything. Love you first. And I have no problem. And I've been that way even when I was doing bad things.